In Microsoft Excel, we can change the page layout so we can decide how much of our text is going to fit on a single page. And we can't really see how that's going to look just by looking at the workbook because it doesn't show all the information. But it's pretty easy to set this up. You just go over to File, and then you choose Print. And we can see, oh, look at that. All the information is going to show up, and it's going to show up exactly the way I want. But let's say, hey, you know what? I don't really want to have it look this way. For instance, I may want to go horizontal instead of vertical, and so I can make that change. I'll go over to Portrait Orientation, change that to Landscape, and now this is how it's going to look. I'm going to click the Back button, and you don't see any differences here. However, if you're going to go to Print, then you're going to see that change. Now, another thing we can do is we can change the size of the sheet. And so I can go to where it says letter 8.5 by 11, and I can change to any size that I'd like. Let's say I'm going to go to a really small one, 5 by 7, and we can see that it shrinks everything down for me. Now, in some cases, you're not going to be able to shrink things down if you have a very large type of Excel document. In that case, it's going to cut some things off on the right or the left. So it's a good idea to take a look and see what this is going to look like before you go to print. I'll just go ahead and pick another one just at random, and you can kind of see how these things all change. Another nice thing we can do is change the collation. So we see it's collated right now as 1, 2, 3. Now if you're printing off, say, a lot of sheets for a meeting that's coming up, there's going to be 10 people at the meeting, then you don't want to do 1, 2, 3. You want to do 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. So that way you can just grab every group of sheets and then you can hand those out at the meeting. You won't have to go through all that collation. Changing the margins can also be helpful, and once again the page layout can tell you how it's going to look once you change those margins. That's because we have something called Live View, which is automatically turned on. And scaling may be useful for you as well. So if you hit the drop down, by default, it's going to print the actual size. That's going to be what's called WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And so that means that if you held up a piece of paper to this monitor after printing it, it would look pretty much exactly the same. However, you could say fill sheet on one page, fit all columns on one page, or fit all rows on one page. So if you have a document where everything is sort of spilling over the edge, then you'll be able to do that. Now, I don't have that in this particular case, but let's go ahead and open up a document that does. And we'll go to File, and we'll go to Print, and I'm going to change the scaling. And look at that. It makes it all super tiny, but it does fit all on one page. And I could change that to fit all columns on one page or fit all rows on one page. So you see things change a little bit. So that's how you deal with page layout and printing in Microsoft Excel.